we did reference a few of those. Whew, I did not like hearing myself. Sorry. Um, and we attached a link. I'm not going to pretend to ask everyone to read what's on that screen because usually I have pretty good eyes and I can't even read that.
I had to enlarge it.
But basically, we're going to issue the call again the way we've been doing it. Our platform that we kind of created with our format in house has actually been it's worked really well for us. And so rather than pay all those subscription fees, we're going to do it in house again. We are going to follow suit like we did on some of the last murals, where we are requiring they give high resolution imagery and conceptuals. Nothing hand drawn will be selected. This was one that we did not limit to just local because it is such a massive sculpture, so we would leave that pretty open-ended. And then again, kept the general idea pretty broad, embrace the beach life, keep it on brand. We did provide in the call a little bit of history of the Jacksonville Beach Pier and kind of how it got to where it is today. And then we left it up to the artist whether they wanted to have a singular sculpture, two flanking either side, or something that's completely arched. And then we also added in there all the requirements for emergency vehicles. And so really, this was just to kind of update everyone. I know this one's kind of been lingering in the back of our minds for a while. And so we are hoping to get this call out ASAP. We're updating the CRA on this on Monday night, and then we'll be able to hopefully get this out this fiscal year. I'm happy to answer any questions about it.
Is that project still within this current year's budget?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
It is.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest project for this year, correct? I mean,
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's one of the main projects of the committee.
Yeah, and I mean, just because, we'll issue it this fiscal year, obviously, but I don't anticipate, even reviewing. Because when you're asking for something this large, and even as far as mock-ups go, this isn't a 30-day turnaround. I mean, this is something we will likely need to open for 60 to 90 days. So we're talking, we open it in the next couple of weeks. We may not sit down to actually review these until the first of the year, just because I know back at the holidays, it's always crazy to try and get everyone together. And I was looking at our meeting dates and the way some of them fall, it is smack in the middle of Thanksgiving and Christmas season. So I will do a better job of looking at the calendar and try and find a specific date, but depending on how we get this issued, once we get applicants in, and then on these bigger ones, we call all the references, we vet all of their former cities, all the other work they've done. It probably realistically would be January before we look at them.
So what we would do is probably narrow it down, and then once we've narrowed it down to several or whatever finalists, then they would be required to do a mock-up, an actual marquee.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, possibly. I think we would do this a lot like we did the other sculpture, where we had, I think, originally narrowed it down to 10 the first go around, and then from 10, I think we went even down to 3 or 5, and then we narrowed it down from there. Obviously, I think we'll know a little bit more once we issue the call and receive applications. This has never happened, but you never know. If we got 3 applicants and one was fantastic and everyone loved it and agreed on it, well, obviously we're not going to narrow anything down at that point. We just know if we get 100, like we've done on some other things, then I think there would be several rounds, because it's just not reasonable that at a 2-hour meeting you can go through that many.
I think what Terry's asking is making it a requirement as part of the criteria this time.
Yeah.
That the finalists, if it's the top 3, to get a better grasp of what is actually going to be the final product.
Yeah, I mean, if we narrow it down to 5 or 10, absolutely.
A scaled mock-up. To your point, I don't know why the early applicants can't be asked to produce a scale.
Tap your button.
Exactly. Can't be asked to produce a scale, just a diagram to show the scale, the actual scale, but later on to the last, say 3 to 5, maybe they need to produce.
Yeah. So now the scale drawing, that's a part of us requiring those higher quality renderings. We did not do that with the first sculpture. We have not always done that with murals. This last mural we did, we said, no, you've got to show it on site at the location. And so we're doing that with this again. So the scale part will get in all those first ones. But yeah, if we narrow it down to 10 and we want them to bring a mock-up actually to a meeting, then there's no reason we can't require that. So yeah, that's fine.
And has the main CRA board solidified? I think we had big questions or posed to them whether we were having a complete across.
So we're just
or-
gonna roll with it and see what happens. I'm just kidding.
I like that method.
You know, to be honest, there was back and forth, and it truly depends whether it's staff, board members, council, whoever you ask. The answer is different. I mean, rightfully so. It's personal preference. So rather than limiting it for the call, we are leaving it open to the artist as long as they fall within the parameters of what is needed for emergency access. So if something obviously wouldn't allow ambulance to access where it needs to, it's obviously a non-starter. Can't do that. But as long as it can provide the dimensions that we need, then we would consider anything.
Great. Okay.
With, you know, I know some artists don't necessarily like when it's an open-ended call, but at least for what we've done thus far, leaving it a little broad, it's worked really well, and we've gotten some really great work. So we'll do it until it doesn't work.
Super excited.
Okay.
Super excited about this project.
Yeah,
This is a major piece for the city.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
agreed.
Absolutely.
And the pier parking lot looks great, so super happy.
Yep.
Everything's good down there. We're
Absolutely.
coming along nicely. So, any other questions on that one?
Any other questions on the
Y'all make this
pier?
easy. Great.
Okay, moving on to Sea Life in the City.
Yes. So we decided after meeting with Jenny Hager with Havoc Studios for budget reasons and just proximity to the salt air that fiberglass would be the best option. So we're not going to do a solid bronze. It's going to be a fiberglass turtle sculpture, and it will be by the lifeguard station. And that's not okay. So this on the right is the small scale kind of mock-up. That's the one that we had selected with the two turtles kind of swimming in the, what is that, kelp? Coral? Yeah. Swimming. Those colors are not the colors that they're going to be. We had decided that it was going to all be very bright and vibrant and very colorful. So that is just the colors they happened to put on the little mock-up. But so this is going to be about $45,000, which was, again, we kind of compared that across a lot of averages. This sculpture will be somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 feet tall. And so now at this point, this was just kind of showing the final design, updating everyone, and we're going to again remind the CRA on Monday just because it's been a long time since we've selected this, refresh everyone's memory, and then once the CRA takes a look at it Monday, we will then enter into a second phase of contract with Havoc Studios to begin work on getting our turtle friends sculpted. And this is the first of the Sea Life in the City project that will eventually fill, hopefully, the city and the boardwalk with lots of different sea life sculptures. This was voted on by the public, and turtles won by a landslide. And the reason we selected kind of at the Beach Boulevard street end by the lifeguard station is one, its proximity to the dunes and where, you know, turtles would be. But also, we felt it was a really good place where we could kind of put this and have like a nice plaque that would talk about the program itself. And then if we extend these animals kind of various places down the boardwalk, that's really where the boardwalk starts. So it seemed to make sense that that's where this one will go. And then otherwise, we'll just continue to coordinate and work with the artists and keep everyone updated.
Now, was the decision to move fiberglass again? One, how did that come about? Because I thought we had all decided on bronze.
Budget.
Budget?
Yep.
Okay, and is the fiberglass going to be strong enough to have a little child climb up that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And it'll have
So that
to
will
withstand people, hurricanes, wind, rain, elements. I would have loved to have been able to go with the solid bronze, but for budgetary reasons, it just,
Not possible.
no.
So it will fade over time for everyone to come back because fiberglass
Yep.
fades, just ask any surfer.
Yep, we'll have a maintenance plan. We'll have a maintenance plan in place where we'll,
Touch it.
yep.
What are the size renderings of this particular sculpture? Has that been,
Yeah, so it's going to width. I'm not 100% sure, just because it's varies, but the height of it is going to land somewhere between 8 and 10 feet. It's about 9 feet tall if we average that out. It's going to be pretty substantial.
And so, just judging on that, width more in the 4 to 6 range?
Probably, yes. Yeah.
Do we have the ability to raise it slightly?
um,
Pedestal. I think there's a little bit of a pedestal at the bottom just because of how we want to make sure it's affixed properly into the concrete and have footers and a structure there. So it will be a little bit elevated. I don't think it'll be very much.
At the UNF Sculpture Plaza there at 6th South, there are concrete
Yeah, it'll be like that.
squares that they poured, and
Yep.
there's anchor bolts and all kinds of stuff that they secure those with.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, if we have the ability to raise it up higher, if we have the ability to raise it up higher, do we want to exercise that by just? Do we want to do
Maybe.
that? That would just be the base, like this, like you said, making the base maybe 2 feet higher
Yeah.
or something like that to make it more impactful.
Yeah.
If that's even a word.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can definitely talk to the artist a little bit. Bearing in mind, we don't want to get it so elevated that, if this thing is sitting at 9 feet tall, that first hurdle is already pretty high. We want it to be something where we're trying to kind of tread lightly on, okay, we want people to stand on it and lean on it and photographs, and it's really cool, but we also don't want it to be a tree to climb on. And then,
A jungle.
if we put it a little high, like, where's that sweet spot?
So if this line, are we saying this is about 10 feet, a 10-foot ceiling? I mean, right to here?
I'm going to be really honest, I have no idea. I have zero perception of height, but probably.
Help me out.
Yes, because that door.
If you can touch the rim, you're dunking the ball. You're not dunking the ball.
Okay.
You get in another.
That's more like 7.
So the turtle would be up past that, or would it be?
The top
One
of that
of them
is,
would.
yeah, one of them, well, the whole thing from bottom to top is about 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's above
Higher
your
than
hand.
that,
Yeah.
and then you have the other turtle
Yep.
down here.
Yeah, so we want people to be encouraged to take pictures and hang out with
Yeah.
it and whatever. But it will have some kind of a pedestal underneath it, like it does at the Sculpture Garden. We can ask how tall exactly, and I can let you know, and we can kind of figure out what makes sense.
Could we do that? And could you do a scale?
Yep.
A scale, with a person standing next to it or whatever.
Right.
An adult and a child or whatever.
Yep.
And
Got
that's simple for them to do.
Mhm.
Super simple on the
Yeah.
computer.
I will email them tonight and ask them. That shouldn't be an issue at all. So, but just honestly really excited to see this. We're kind of happy this is picked back up and is moving along, and we can get
No, it's exciting.
another sculpture.
Yep, looks great. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and they're great. I'm excited. It's really cool working with a local team.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Other questions? Nope. Okay.
All right,
Continue.
moving right along. Okay, so bathrooms. Our most recent mural has gone wonderfully. Again, kudos to selecting these artists. Like, truly at this point, we have had nothing but wonderful luck. So please keep that up. It makes our job super easy. The other 2 bathrooms in the downtown district, rather than issuing calls based off of state statute chapter 287, it has a couple of sections that say these are not held to the procurement laws by the state of Florida. So we're able to just procure certain services, just go straight to that person, and public art is one of those. So when we did our local call, we received a ton of great work. I went back and looked at how everyone scored, including Trey, and the candidates provided for you guys are the top ones other than the artist who won. So what you're seeing in here, they're not drawn on the other 2 bathrooms. I did want to reach out to these artists and be like, hey, can you redo this again? And then, we've already got their mock-ups. We've seen what they're capable of. So really today, we wanted to get what we provided, the top 2, your favorite ones, and then we will reach out to those 2 artists and say, hey, listen, are you interested? We have these 2 other restrooms. Do you want to do them? And we'll kind of look at whatever the 2 favorite are, which one maybe makes more sense for which bathroom. I think a good example would be like Oceanfront Park, for example, is where the pier used to be. And I know one of the murals had a pier in it. So like in theory, if something like that were selected, okay, well, maybe it makes sense to put this pier mural where the pier once was, or, something like that. So we can kind of, so this was one of the finalists from the other call. Oh, lovely.
And we used
sideways.
the rubric with the total of 15.
Yes, Jody.
That's the one I used.
Sorry, y'all. Rotate that. There we go. All right. All right. So this was one. This is obviously pays a lot of tribute to surfing, which there's been a lot of that happening out and about today. And then this is kind of the drawn rendering. And then this would be the another side of whichever restroom. Again, it would probably make sense, like for this one, for example, to paint the one if they were selected at Oceanfront Park, because the one at Second Ave does not. It's blocked completely on the back side, so there's no point in painting the back. So because this one had such a strong front and back, it would make sense to go to the other restroom that has 4 sides. And there's the other mock-up of that. That one was ranked highly. All right, I'm going to just click through. This is Jonathan Lynn, because if that's sideways, yeah, then that means the renderings. Okay, so this one of the sides had a massive turtle. I know, it's cute. It looks like your puzzle. And then our seal. And like this one having the pier, if some lights were selected, would it make sense to put it at Oceanfront Park where the pier once was? This was John Lynn. All right. This is Grace Seymour. There you go. Again, another one with a pier in it. Really cool. And then this one also was one that had the Jaguar lounging on the beach. And so this was her mock-up. It's actually really good how she kind of superimposed it over the existing structure. Mm-hmm. And there's the Jaguar. That's really cool. Uh-huh. Okay. And then Philip Walker. And so this kind of pays tribute to really old Jack's Beach. It's pretty cool. And Sean Bono. He is a local. All right, here we go. Yeah, this one was cool because it was like the airplane was pulling the bathroom sign. And like I said, these were the ones that everyone had unanimously ranked somewhere in their top for the last mural. Mm-hmm. Okay, so those were all of the top finalists from the last mural. For anybody, like, does we want to treat this like we've done our other ones and everybody kind of just says their top 2 thus far, and then we can kind of dive into those? Or if somehow the top 2 line up perfectly again, we don't dive into anything and we move right along. So, and if anybody needs me to scroll back to any specific person or mural, just let me know.
Do you mind scrolling back to Grace Seymour again, please?
Absolutely.
Right.
There we go.
Right.
Thought that was hers. Okay.
Right. Do you want somebody to start?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I had my top 2 were Nicole,
Mm-hmm.
first one.
Yep.
And Grace Seymour. I felt like Nicole was.
Okay. Let me go
There was
back.
a lot going on. There was a lot going on in the mural. There were a lot of things that are indicative.
Yeah, this one.
To Jacksonville Beach, to Florida in general. It's got a little whimsical feel to it. It's kind of fun, and that's why she was kind of in my top pick. Grace Seymour was a similar theme. It just wasn't quite involved. If you wanted something a bit cleaner graphic wise,
There we go.
yeah, if you wanted, basically they're a little bit the same in the sense of the waves and stuff, but hers was a little bit more, again, whimsical.
Yeah.
And it had a bit more Florida elements to it. And that's why I picked her as
Okay.
my first choice.
So Grace was your number one out of the final two, and Nicole was number two.
Nicole was number one.
Oh, sorry,
No,
flip
Yeah.
flop
Nicole was number one.
Okay.
And
Thank you for your service to the art group.
that. Hello.
Now we have more staff and committee members.
Do you want to see these?
What are we paying now? Back us?
The other two. Wait, hold on. You'll like this end. Hold on. Wait for it.
I'm not going to influence this group at all. It is your decision. This is why you're here.
Okay. Noted. Bob?
Yes,
You have
I had Nicole and Sean Bono.
Okay.
I had Sean scoring the highest and Nicole next. With so few submissions, I was able to take a deeper dive into their professionalism and their experience. Sean Bono has a tremendous portfolio online. It's almost a kind of another example where the submission for the bathroom isn't as good as his whole body of work. One of those, because he's just highly skilled,
I agree.
and he has prior experience, which I did not find with many of the others. In fact, most I did not find prior experience. Philip Walker, I think his work was like one dimensional with the colors and the theme. Nicole, I liked, and even though she, didn't have she kind of had a mid-range score on her professionalism and experience, but art kind of won out with me. The final product I always kind of like lean towards. I had Sean scoring the highest, and I had his work pegged for the 2nd Avenue North because of the layout of his linear. And Nicole I had as number 2 and was kind of recommending her for the 6th Avenue South.
Okay, I had Sean Bono number 1, and I struggled with number 2, but as I'm seeing them again, I think Grace would be my number 2.
Okay.
I like the activity. I like the variety in her piece, but I love the airplane pulling the sign along.
Yep.
That got me.
Where does that leave us?
So,
Asking what Trey's what's word I don't remember.
Yeah.
well, so fun fact, there's been 3 names thrown out, and each name has 2 votes. So we got to go from 3 names to 2.
But we have
Wanna-
2 number 1s, right, for Sean. So is that a higher score?
Yes, but if we want, no, we can't vote on behalf of Trey, but I can go grab that binder off my desk and see what he, deliberate. I'll let you click.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah, I'm
idea.
gonna go grab my notes from the first meeting.
Take your time. She's gonna come back huffing and puffing.
Right.
She will run. She will run. If this one doesn't get picked, I definitely want to find somewhere to put this Jaguar. Anywhere. I'll just find a wall. I don't know why I love this so much.
And the significance of the Jaguar just kidding.
I took an account.
Terry, that's strike 2 for you today.
Even though it wasn't a scored item, I took into account the experience of prior, work, and maybe that should have been a numerical score added to that, but it was just a yes or no. You got to get experience somehow, right? It's got to start somewhere.
Now, even the Nicole was with 2 people doing it.
Yeah, she has a partner. You can tell. You can tell the front and the back were definitely different. That's a Nicole, and the other one is the other girl.
I literally
Her name is on the
scared
second
everybody in
page.
the department.
Yeah, that's a completely different style.
See, this is why every okay. So of the three names thrown out, let me catch my breath. Let's see. We've got Nicole, Grace, and Sean. Okay, so on Trey, he's got Grace as the highest out of those three. And then Sean and Nicole are the same.
That's why I wanted to know. Yes, that helps you guys listen to.
Grace
Well,
and Sean.
I picked
No,
Nicole
Grace.
as my number 2. Sean is my number 1. Your number 1 was Sean. Your number 1 was Nicole.
But my number 2, well, I have Nicole and Grace higher.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So then Trey has Grace higher than Nicole.
So it's Sean and Grace.
I think.
I would with Trey coming
I don't
in.
know how what the rubric is, but if we gave 3 points for number 1 or 2, or whatever,
Yeah, I mean,
2 number 1s.
because you both had Sean as number 1. Grace would have fallen out of those as Trey's number 1. Grace was your number 2.
She was tied.
And okay, so then yeah, if that's the case, then because Grace was also in yours, then that would make it Sean and Grace.
Sean and Grace. Now, who gets the what? I don't. How do we determine that?
Let me see.
I know
The Grace, I believe, has the pier, which probably yes. So staff at least, because Heather and I have talked about this before. The recommendation I think for hers would be, and because all 4 of her sides are so vibrant, probably to put her down at Oceanfront Park, where all 4 sides are extremely visible, and that used to be where the pier was.
and they're smaller.
Yeah,
It's almost a square building.
yeah.
So yeah, she could. That would work.
So if everyone is okay with that, we can see if Grace is interested in being the one to do Oceanfront Park. And then because Sean also had that really cool airplane pulling the sign that said restroom, I think that would also look really good on the other building along that front facade.
Now,
Because
you said the back
which is
facade is not worth painting, and so I would
Yeah.
I would posit, and I'll put it up to the group, but I would posit that his airplane goes on what's visible
Okay.
versus
Yeah,
the way.
and the building's pretty much the same size as this, is it not, Taylor?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're
the
not
same-
very far off. It's just longer, but the amount of square footage they would end up painting because of one painting 4 sides, one painting 3, the square footage almost ends up the same. But the one not at Oceanfront Park is much longer.
Right.
So if the group prefers this image, then this would be what we would ask Sean, hey, are you comfortable and would you be interested in painting this piece on the front facade and then his 2 ends like this?
Yeah.
Is everyone good with that?
Everyone, in
Yeah.
favor? Okay.
Okay. So the plane and then 2 ends. Okay. So then Grace for Oceanfront Park, Sean for 2nd Ave. I'm saying that right? Yeah, 2nd Ave. Painting his airplane, pulling the restroom sign with the birds and the palm trees. So now we will reach out. I'll reach out to them both and let them know, hey, under statute, we're able to just commission a piece of artwork. Are you still interested? And if so, kind of get a timeline from them. And we will keep everyone updated.
Excellent.
It's exciting. Yeah. It's a little too. Okay. I'm gonna flip the screen back around. Thank you. Somebody asked me asking people to do stuff. So. Okay, and next up, this is a pretty straightforward one. We've been at this a couple years now, and we've kind of figured out some things that work and some things that don't work. And so we just took a quick little look at our bylaws. The way our bylaws work is the CRA will have, I don't know what's happening. They'll have to approve the bylaws. It is actually on their agenda for Monday night. There's only 2 changes to the bylaws because, quite frankly, it's working pretty well how we've got things structured. So if it's not broke, why bother fixing it? We do want to formalize in the bylaws. Right now it reads 7 members. We would like to formalize 5. We feel like that's a really good number. And then when the new fiscal year rolls around, we will open this up and interview for our 5th member officially. And we would also like to require, this is not something we did initially because we weren't sure if we would need to, but we would like to require that all the board members, just like the rest of the boards, are residents or have a brick and mortar business they operate in Jax Beach proper. And those are the only changes.
Okay.
How does that call to a committee member go out? Is that something that we should be active in as well as you? Or?
So these lovely ladies next to me up here will help us. This was the only committee that was a little bit unique in comparison to other boards. So other boards, they fill out applications any time of the year with the clerk's office. They kind of get held on file. There will be interviews kind of in batches throughout the year, and then council appoints someone. With this one, they gave staff, they gave us a little more creative freedom with this. So we actually handled all the interviews and we made a recommendation. So I will work with the clerk's office. We will open the same application again, someone that has experience in some realm of the world of art. And we'll leave the application open for however long we decide, 30 days, for whatever it is. We will conduct interviews again and then make a recommendation based off those interviews to the CRA and then to City Council and then hopefully fill a 5th member.
Excellent.
It's going to really change up the dynamic. We haven't had a 5th person in a long time.
How long have we been doing this?
2.5 years? 3? Almost 3 years?
2.5?
Almost 3?
Yeah, I'm losing track.
I know, exactly.
It was great. So I think that's why they are letting us still have a little bit of creative freedom because it's worked so well this time. So we'll pick one more. But we just wanted to make sure you guys were comfortable with those 2 changes. And as long as you guys are comfortable and everyone's in consensus with that, we will take it to the CRA Monday night for final approval. And then October, we will plan to roll out an application for a new board member.
Rob, you good with that?
Yes, I'm great with that.
Okay. Great. Proceed, please.
All right. Mr. Chairman, that is all staff had for you guys.
Any other things we need to discuss? New business? Nope.
No, sir.
Adjourned. Done.
All right. 3:36.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah, if you've got something you were